What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more a-ha, and we're going back to their sophomore album, 1986, Scoundrel Days, once more. I just wanted to give a big shout out again to all the a-ha people who've come to enjoy this channel and have started commenting on the reactions. It's been overwhelming, it's been fantastic. In a way, it reminds me of when I started doing Duran reactions, because a number of wonderful, fantastic people began commenting on the videos, giving me information, giving me context, offering their own opinions about different songs, and as I started to go through more and more albums, you know, comparing and contrasting the way they interacted with the different albums, and in some cases telling me how their opinions about certain tunes have changed over time. And again, since I started reacting to a-ha videos, a number of you have reached out, started offering your opinions, giving me an indication of how much you appreciate this group, and just sort of, in some cases, talking about how underappreciated they are, which I've really come to appreciate, because when I started doing the reactions, as I mentioned, it was basically Take On Me was the only tune that I knew for sure. It remains possible that there might be one or two more along the way that I will recognize, as again, I was a kid, a single-digit kid in the 80s, so you know, I was around and listened to the radio a lot when they made their impact and, you know, sort of hit the music scene. But like I said, as far as I know, it's only Take On Me. And what's amazing is, you know, even having a warning, a friend of the channel, Han Solo, had mentioned, hey, you know, they're a lot more than just their hit. And again, a number of you who've since started to comment on the videos have said the same thing, that their diversity is like one of their main and impressive features in the sort of evolution of their sound over the albums, which I'm really waiting for, but in another way already starting to pick up on. And indeed, like, one of the things that impresses me beyond the level of production, beyond the composition and like sequencing or chronology of the tunes, beyond that golden, beautiful, angelic voice, it's the way in which they have a variety of sounds. Like, you know, this album has a, you know, sort of a sound that I'm beginning to sort of get a sense for, of like, okay, so Scoundrel Days, you know, it has this sort of feel, but already there's been a couple different types of songs, and in fact a couple people mentioned that the song, what was it before Manhattan Skyline, the song October, was basically a good way to set you up for Manhattan Skyline, in that it has a slightly more mellow feel. It's a bit more, you know, sort of floaty rather than sort of aggressive and energetic, which again, if you watch my reaction to Manhattan Skyline, what an unbelievable tune. I said it at the time, like, I've been listening to a lot of really good music the last few months. That song is right near the top of anything that I've listened to. It was just brilliant. And what blew me away is, you know, I'm talking about diversity of their sound. It's a song that has great diversity within the same song. You know, it starts very floating and sort of angelic, and again, that voice, and then suddenly, boom, in drop the powerful drums and the guitar, and then his singing kicks up a notch to a bit more like energy and power. Blew me away. Although I did want to comment, shout out to Izzy, who said, you know, it's a brilliant tune. I wouldn't mind hearing, though, like a full song of the sort of floaty, uplifting, euphoric part, and a full song of the real energetic, sort of driving rock tune. And I would agree with that, though again, the song itself was brilliant. So again, shout out to all the a-ha people. I really do appreciate you. But yeah, we're up to a tune called Cry Wolf. As a phrase, obviously, that's sort of a, you know, cultural and sort of conceptual idiom that relates to trying to alert people to an impending danger. Now, as someone who's long been interested in wolf ecology and conservation, I want to give a shout out to my furry friends out there. Ultimately, I'm very interested in like wolf and sort of like their pack behavior and so on, and they're not worthy of some of the more negative kind of historical and cultural stereotypes, but at the end of the day, that phrase is used to indicate, you know, alerting, whether it's a village or other people in a more modern context, and you're just using it as a metaphor, to an impending external danger. But in particular, it's used in relation to a false declaration of that danger, right? Like the idea that, like, well, you cried wolf, you said there was a problem, you said there was a danger, we all prepared for it, we all took your word at face value, and it turned out to not be true. And of course, you know, those of you who know that expression will know that the real point is, if you constantly, through, you know, a desire to be sort of joking and to, you know, be a bit mischievous, or whether because you have some sort of psychological compulsion to be deceptive or misleading to people, if you continue to tell people that there's a danger when there's not, eventually there might actually be a danger, but no one's going to care and no one's going to believe you because you've spent too much time, like, abusing their trust. So yeah, Cry Wolf, out of the gate, I'm led to wonder whether it relates to, again, maybe it's on an interpersonal level, maybe it's on a wider, like, social level, but some level of declaration and or trust that are not in perfect symmetry. The idea of saying that something is happening when in reality, the circumstances are different. Although I suppose that could be with yourself, right? Like, you could, try to evoke some sort of emotional reaction and so on, but like you don't quite believe it. So then when you actually have to try to manifest that emotion in a situation where it's actually relevant, perhaps, you won't be able to do so, or it won't feel genuine. So we'll see. It may have nothing to do with this. I mentioned it before when I do these title speculations. It's just a way to get my brain working. So let's get it. This is from Scoundrel Days, Aha's tune, Cry It feels like this could jam for another couple minutes. Feels like they're really like having fun with that. So yeah, very energetic tune, had a lot of energy. I like the percussion, like it had sort of like, booming drums. It had sort of a big feel to it. As I said, very danceable. And again, I'm not quite sure of all the lyrical pieces, but it did seem like he's talking about, cry wolf, now is the time to worry. So I don't know if that peril, again, is interpersonal, maybe intimate, or whether, relates to someone's life trajectory or a particular, social, cultural, occupational, scenario. But yeah, it does seem like in general it is like playing off of that that motif, that sort of literary concept. So yeah, do let me know what you think of the tune. I very much enjoy it, and again, like a very different tune from Manhattan Skyline, but also very energetic and fun. So once more, an album and a half in, it's like within individual songs I'm picking up on the diversity, like over the course of a single album I'm picking up on diversity. A number of you have mentioned that when we get to the 90s albums, it's going to have a more overt kind of rock heavy sound. So over their discography, it seems like they go down some different avenues. So bottom line, I'm really excited for it. I hope a number of you are here for the longer deep dive, because they're just going to keep coming. So do let me know what you think of this song. I'll see you next time. Peace.